Ladies and gentlemen, Congress have not extended the free school lunch program. I want to thank one of my subscribers, Adrian Thomas, for this particular story. So, Congress is letting the free school lunch program expire for 10 million children across the U.S. So, this could mean trouble, especially for low to moderate income students where their parents just can't afford to pay for that lunch every single day. So, for the last 2 years, the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, provided federal waivers that offered free school lunches year round to all U.S. children who attend public school. The program has allowed an estimated 10 million kids to be able to eat lunch every single day, even when school wasn't in session during the summer. So, they were saying that the waivers actually began during the onset of the pandemic and how children who weren't in school would be fed. So, if you remember, during the lockdown, they did allow school cafeterias to be open to those children that really do depend on that meal. Sometimes that might be their only meal for the day. So, the free lunch waivers were set to expire June 30th, and Congress has yet to extend the program. And if y'all remember, this free lunch actually began with the Black Panthers. They were the first ones to implement this back in the 60s. And then, of course, this government, although they hated the Black Panthers, they did, rip this part of it off, the free school lunches. So, according to pre-pandemic survey conducted by School Nutrition Association, many children and families just can't afford to pay for a full price school lunch. Unfortunately, as many as 75% of school districts punish students who can't pay for their meals by placing them in debt. The national public school meal debt is at $262 million dollars a year. Yeah, this is only going to make things even worse for families here. So, data accrued by Feeding America finds that 1 in 5 food insecurity students live in a home that isn't eligible for a free or even reduced school lunch. That means that there are many families across the country who can't afford to feed their children but still don't qualify for free or discounted lunch programs until the universal free lunch program was put in place in 2020. In the US, 1 in 7 children is considered food insecure. The argument made for free lunch is that well fed students are healthier and perform better academically. Should there even be an argument over feeding hungry kids, though? Students from low income households can still technically access free lunches at school, but will have to submit an application that includes their financial information. That's how it used to be done years ago. No Kid Hungry, nonprofit working to resolve problems of hunger and poverty in the United States and around the world, points out that this process is complicated and can make students feel othered and embarrassed in the school lunch line among other kids, particularly kids in the communities where there are lower to moderate poverty rates. There's a huge stigma attached to free meals, and parents may be didn't want their kids identified that way. Jillian Meir, the director of No Kid Hungry, tells The Guardian. The USDA child nutrition waivers ensure no student had to feel this way or worry about how they're going to eat. Under the waiver program, families didn't have to fill out applications for their kids to receive the free lunches. Schools were also able to expand their food distribution efforts, including handing out curbside meals when schools were closed during the lockdown. The average cost of a single school meal for elementary school students is $2.48, according to the counter. Though these costs may vary state by state and, of course, according to district. In California, one school district charges students up to $6.80 per meal. These costs add up, especially as prices for food surges across the country. These prices can also be steep for low income families who pay for school lunches for multiple children. I think we're going to see in real time in summer hunger crisis grow that there's going to that's going to give us a preview of what's going to happen the next school year. Why is the free school lunch program expiring? The Biden administration didn't include an extension for this program in its most recent $1.5 trillion spending bill, despite the fact that the president advocated for extending free school meals into 2023. According to the Washington Post, Senate Republicans argued the universal lunch was meant to be temporary and said an extension could add to the national rising deficit because of the rising food prices. The cost of food means the same argument could be made for low income families. So the Republicans want this program cut off. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republicans are for sending all this money over to Ukraine, but they want to cut American children off from school lunches. They're not talking about how expensive it is to give away $40 million, an additional $1 billion, and all of the military aid that's going over there and humanitarian aid. It's amazing how they won't complain about that, but something for your children, food, they got a problem with that. So typical, so typical. The Post also reports that USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack aggressively pushed for a re-extension during earlier this year, saying that it made a request to speak to leader Mitch McConnell and leader McCarthy. Wow. So, Senator Agriculture Chair Debbie Stepanow tells Politico the GOP leadership would prefer to let our kids go hungry. Mm, mm, mm. And it is estimated that 14 million kids in America are not getting enough food on a regular basis. But this country got all the money in the world to give to other nations and will let their own citizens fall. And see, this is why I said this is very anti family, anti child, and anti race nation. They have a lot of isms that they just can't get past. So, y'all, I know many of my subscribers have children and grandchildren, and if they're on these programs, you better get ready because it look like you're going to be paying for these meals or packing the lunches yourself. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.